Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is another tournament, another Shadow Spring tournament game, and it's actually against Shadow this time, so we're against our host. And also, how weird is this? Look at that. This is floating flora. It's kind of odd. Clearly, dark magic is being used here. Anyway, enough about that. So, as you can see, I'm the Dark Elves against the Dwarves, which is a very tough matchup for poor Shadow here. But, he pulls out some tricks, that's for sure. So you can see my army here. I've actually got a Death Hag escorting Morathi. I've got some Witch Elves in the back. I've got a load of Black Ark Corsairs in the front for their anti-infantry. And I've got some Hard-Death Executioners, just two groups of them, because I know I'll need, just the maximum armor piercing, etc. Also got some Dark Shards with shields, so Rangers can't pick them off as easily. So these guys should do pretty well. So my plan here is basically just have Morathi, the Death Hag, the Witch Elves just all swarm in and debuff the crap out of everything. Because Morathi has some crazy debuffs, so does the Death Hag. I should have brought her on the cart, really. My bad. I thought I had. Whoops. Anyway, and the Witch Elves as well, when they rampage things, it lowers melee defense. These guys will just do a huge amount of debuffs, and that was my idea. Just walk in with a very simple line, have Morathi in the fight, and everything around them will be really debuffed. Now, Shadow here, he's got some pretty good tricks up his sleeve. You can see here, he's got some Rangers. He's got Rangers with great weapons. Over here, he's got the same thing, Rangers and Rangers with great weapons. So he's got some Rangers take on the unarmored things, and the great weapons to do a lot of damage to the armored stuff. And it means he's getting a lot of damage into me early, which is a very good move. He's also got here, he's got the Gobblobber. So the Gobblobbers can do a lot of damage to both leadership and, well, faces, I suppose. So that's going to hurt. He's also got the Dragonback Slayers protecting it from any little incursions, such as these Harpies that I have hidden over there, as well as some Dark Rise repeater crossbows as well. Some extra AP. So he's also got Dwarf Warriors in the front, along with a load of handgunners here. He's got Norgrimling's Ironbreakers in the middle. These guys just refuse to die, no matter what you do, really. They're just so sturdy. So he's also got a load of Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors mixed in at the back, which is pretty cool. So a pretty sturdy line, generally. But he's got a lot of handgunners and Rangers to do some really good damage. So we're going to speed things up. You can see already the Gobblobbers doing a lot of damage to the Corsairs. Really, you want to be going for the Hard-Death Executioners with the Gobblobbers, but still. So here I start getting some shots on, and I'm trying to catch up with them with the Black Ark Corsairs. The Corsairs should do very well in this engagement. There shouldn't be too many problems for me here, especially with the Dark Shard fire coming in as well. And now the Witch Elves have caught them, I should be able to shut these guys down pretty well. But I'm having to drag things away from the main engagement. So over here as well, these Corsairs are running in, but they are taking a lot of damage. So I have to get my Dark Shards to fire into this lot as well, and I'm under a load of artillery fire and handgunner fire over here, which is making it very difficult. So these Rangers definitely slowed me down. Luckily, I have done a huge amount of damage to these two. These ones are going to take a little bit longer to kill, and they're going to get a lot of damage to the Corsairs before I can deal with them, unfortunately. So moving in, obviously handgunner fire is going to be a pain. So here, Dwarf Warriors against Corsairs. The Corsairs should win out there. Longbeards do well against Corsairs, but Corsairs can beat the Dwarf Warriors fairly well. Charge the Hard-Death Executioners in here too. I should have moved to an angle. I got my Witch Elves just charging in. I'm trying to catch some of the handgunners, but really I shouldn't have just charged in like that. So with the Dwarf Warriors and a huge amount of fire from the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, my Witch Elves have got tattered to pieces. I really shouldn't have just thrown them in like that. So I'm trying to spread out my guys a bit. So I got my Corsairs running in here with the Death Hag and Morathi. But as you can see, I've kind of got little holes forming already. So as you can see, I've got some Dark Shards, but they're getting shot by the Rangers. The few Rangers that came back over on this side finally shattered them, and I'm dealing with these ones as well. So I've got a lot of AP that's able to come in later, but not yet. You see Morathi is taking a ton of damage, but she's got Soul Stealer, and I'm not using any Winter Magic yet, so that's fine. So, and a lot of this stuff is pretty debuffed. The Rune Lord, if we look, he's only got 17 melee attack right now, which is pretty ridiculous, truth be told. So, more blasting charges going off and hitting my Corsairs. These Norgrimling's Ironbreakers barely taking any damage, so I'm trying to get some shots into them with the Dark Shards now and start whittling them down. But this Soul Stealer is going to be a huge amount of help. I mean, you saw how much damage Morathi had taken, but she's getting a load of health back, which is really good, and it's going to do a lot of damage to things like the Rune Lord. Of course, they are going to be stronger against magic, with the Rune Lord going. He's got a lot of good buffs when he's on that Anvil of Doom. So over here, my Harpies are coming back. I'm trying to keep my Dark Riders away from the Slayers, but he's constantly chasing me. It's a real nuisance. Thunderers have been getting very hurt in the back line there, and these Thunderers are also under attack. So the Dark Shards are doing well here, but the Gobblobber is still in operation, which is not good for me at all. So here, these Dwarf Warriors really struggling. Yeah, the Norgrim's Eyebreakers, they're still holding out. And, yeah, it looks like these Corsairs are going to go. Oof. So, you know, Corsairs here going. Over on this side, Hargan Executioners, they're going to be able to kill Longbeards all day. But I'm in a really good position here. If you look, I'm on this side. So I'm in a really good position with the Thunderers to get really good damage into them. So that's not good for me. So over on this side, I've got a mixture of Corsairs and Hargan Executioners fighting the Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards. And here I'm actually bringing the Dark Riders back, because I did manage to get on top of the Gobblobber, which is great news for me. So here I use another Soul Stealer to heal Morathi up, because she was getting a little bit surrounded there, which isn't good. So once again, only 17 melee attack on the Rune Lord, which is pretty great. But he's still got just so much power here. I don't really want to be getting into a duel with him just yet. This is not ideal. Luckily though, he has pulled back his Dwarf Warriors to try and plug this hole, so these Hargan Executioners can now move on to the next lot. But I am actually losing quite a lot of stuff here. These Dwarf Warriors came out of nowhere, and they've just been trying to polish off, you know, a load of my other units. So Witch Elves have come back. I'm trying to get my Dark Shards to fire into these guys now, just to finish them off quickly and save the rest of my ranged units. But it means that his ranged units now have some respite, because I'm not using mine to take out theirs, you see. So luckily things are starting to break over here, which is nice. Morathi and the Rune Lord kind of neck and neck at the moment, thanks to all the debuffs. But once again, you can see a Soul Blight lowering everything's armor. Unfortunately, my Death Hag is having a bit of a problem getting through these Slayers, which is not good for me at all. Comes to the Death Hag, not a lot of armor, at 10 armor. So although the Dragonback Slayers are anti-large, they're still going to do some serious work. So lowering their weapon damage definitely helps. But now, Hargan Executioners and Corsairs coming in. They're going to make short work of the Dragonback Slayers. I mean, look at this. Look at this. All of these Hargan Executioners still healthy. That's something you really want to shut down. But I don't have their melee attack debuff because Morathi's not in combat right now. Also, I've got my Dark Riders shooting into the Rune Lord, doing some good damage. And over here you can see I did manage to catch the Dwarf Warriors with the Witch Elves, which meant they rampaged. But unfortunately his ranged units were able to take out my Dark Shards over here. But I've still got 2 healthy Dark Shards, and I've still got 2 pretty healthy Hargan Executioners too. But you see they are getting shot by a lot of stuff here. It's still a lot of handgunners that I need to get rid of. So that's no fun. And still, you know, a load of Dragonback Slayers left alive, and these Norgrim's Eyebreakers have been fighting for ages against heroes mostly. It's crazy. Here you can see my Death Hag is still alive somehow. So here I'm trying to get my Witch Elves into the back, and if I can rampage into this stuff with the Witch Elves, then they're going to completely lose all their utility. But given how damaged the Witch Elves are, I don't think they're going to last in this fight for very long. But it is enough to rampage somehow the unit at the back. There we go, both Thunderers rampaged. So that's kind of, yeah, that's going to seal the deal over here. Unfortunately, these Dwarf Warriors are coming back, still 40 of them. I've got some more units coming back, but I'm pretty focused on what's going on here. So I got Morathi now fighting the Rune Lord. So the Rune Lord has shattered because of all the sustained fire, you know, and my Hargan Executioners can finish off everything else. So that's army losses. It's just, yeah, balance of power, too much in my favour. So it's knocked it in mine. So it's pretty great. So yeah, Dragonback Slayers, 3 left, and that'll be it for them. So really well played to Shadow though. This is not an easy matchup at all. I mean, normally I'd go with the sort of, you know, Malekith on a chariot kind of route, and you know, just basically just bring Hargan Executioners and Dark Shards, and that's kind of all you need, and some Witch Elves to pin down the Slayers, you know. And yeah, that seems to go pretty well usually, just, you know, solid front line. But I wanted to try all those debuffs out, and actually it did really prevent, you know, the front line of the Dwarves there from doing a lot of damage. But of course, it's still a bit iffy because, well, he brought a load of Rangers, which was really good. It just pulled my army apart. The Thunderers were able to get a load of good damage into valuable units. It was great. It was a really interesting strategy. I was not expecting this, and having the Norgrim's Eyebreakers right in the middle just to anchor that line, these guys will just not die. You still see they got 93 kills. You know, those blasting charges did a great job at shutting down my Witch Elves, and they were just an absolute nightmare, quite frankly. They were just so difficult to get rid of. I mean, they had almost no melee attack thanks to Morathi being, you know, around them the whole time, but it didn't matter. Like, they're just so survivable. They have all the time in the world to get killed. So it's pretty crazy. You see, Thunderers did pretty well. A couple of the Rangers did get very caught out at the start. He had them a bit too far forward, I think. You know, because they're slow. They are pretty slow. I mean, they're fast for a Dwarf, but Corsairs are going to catch them, you know. And even then, I'm going to get in range with my Dark Shards pretty quickly and start doing damage. Gobblobber, I think, did a great job. I think it could have been, you know, aimed at slightly more valuable targets, but I think it helped to break quite a few units, and it was a real hindrance for me to get into that back line, you know. I had the Harpies trying to get in there, but yeah, the Dragonback Slayers were able to just kill anything that I threw at the the Goblobber. In the end, I had to take him on a little adventure, have him chasing my Dark Riders for a while before I could get on top of him. So it was really well played, because this is such a difficult matchup. It always goes in the favour of the Dark Elves. It is so difficult for the Dwarves to win this, but I think Shadow did a bloody good job of, you know, making me work for that victory. So it's a lot of fun. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe. And, of course, head over to Shadow's channel if you want to see, well, literally all of the battles from this tournament. He's casting every single one from every competitor. So it's 6 battles a day he's putting on his channel, which is crazy. So, pretty damn cool. So be sure to go check that out. And, guys, yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.